Okay. So in the last class we have started completed all the waters and all. Okay. So now we have come to the and also we have completed the dams, water resources and dams also. Okay. Next we okay. Is the screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Next point is modes of transportation. So can anybody tell me what is transportation? Defines transportation.
Traveling from one place to another.
Yes. As a engineering student, can you define? It is a branch of civil engineering. It is a sub branch of civil engineering which deals about yes, which deals about can you, that is designing, planning, analysis of highways, roadways, railways, airways and waterways. Okay, so this is called a transportation system. Okay, so there are different that is nothing but we have to travel from one point to another point. There are, that is called as transportation, but there are different types of modes of transportation. So what are those modes of transportation? Through land, if you are traveling, then that will is nothing but landways. Through air, if you are traveling, then that is called as airways. Through water, if you are traveling, then that is called as waterways. In the landways, again there are two types. One is if you are traveling by vehicle, that is called as roadway, through roads. If you are traveling by the railways, then that is called as railways. Okay, in landways there will be two. One is by road, roadways; by rail, railways. Okay, so first we will study about the waterways. Okay, so how waterways will be, what is waterways and what are the advantages and disadvantages. And so through, if you are traveling from one country to another country, okay, through if there is a, that country is surrounded by a sea or ocean, then the other modes of transportation is not possible. Okay, that is railways, airways, that is railways and water, landways, roadways are not possible. In that case you have to go by the with the help of waterways only. Okay, so what is waterways? Historically, waterway societies have always located near the water. Okay, you know that in the ancient times, the most of the cities or population is resided by the near the waters. Okay, that is rivers and lakes and all. Okay, located near the water due to partly to the fact that water enables more efficient travel compared to going over the land. So this waterways will give the it will enable more efficient. It is more efficient than any other ways, because in waterway railways, if you want to go by railways, you have to construct a rail tracks. You have to construct the railway also, railway locomotive. If you want to go by the landways, that is roadways, you have to construct the roads and you have to construct the manufacture the vehicles also. Correct now? So if there is a waterways, you have to just manufacture the ship, okay, and boat. So through the boat and all, you can easily go. Correct now? So which one is the more efficient? Waterways are the more efficient. So waterways are critically important to the transportation system of people and goods throughout the world. Okay, if you want to go around the world, then airways is very difficult. Okay, because it is very costly, and also railways is not possible in some of the cases, and roadways is also not possible. In that case, if you want to travel around the world, then you have to travel by the waterways. Is it okay? Clear? Yes. The complex network of connections between the coastal ports, inland ports, rail, air, truck routes forms a foundation material, economic wealth and worldwide. Okay. Just see this point. The transportation by the water is the slowest among the four modes. Yes, in the as compared to the roadways and railways and airways, this waterways is the very slow, very slow, but it needs minimum energy to haul the unit through the a unit distance. Hauling means what? Haul means what? movement. Okay, to travel from one point to another point, the movement is takes place. That moment को क्या बोलते हैं? Fall. Okay, so waterways is the, it is the slowest. Okay, it is not fast, it is very very slow among the four modes, and it needs minimum energy to move a unit load through a unit distance. Okay, एक point to another point move होने के लिए it needs minimum energy. Then what are the advantages of the waterways? Advantages of water transport: it is relatively economical mode. Yes, it is relatively economical mode of transport for bulky and heavy goods. Yes, see, before that is before Europeans coming to the India, that is Vasco da Gama came to India, correct na? So how he came? He came by aeroplane.
No.
How he came? He came by the
Ship.
by the ship only, no? But he has used a transport, waterway transport. He took bulky and heavy goods. Okay, if you one country to another country, if you want to move, see, petroleum products are traveling, okay, from one country to another country. So how they are coming? Either they are coming by the rail, by the roads, or by the airways, or by the waterways. Petroleum petrol is transporting, no? So they are coming because that is heavy goods and bulky, that is transferring through the waterways only, and it is a safe mode for the transport with the respect to the occurrence of accidents. Yes, as considered the accidents in the roadways and airways, so this is the safe mode of transportation. In the MCQ questions, he may ask which one is the safe mode of transportation. Which one?
Waterways.
Waterways is the safe mode of transportation system. Next, so the cost of maintaining and constructing the routes is very low, as the most of them naturally made. Yes, if there is a one country, so if it is surrounded by the water, then from one point to another point, if you want to go, it is cost, the route is, you are not going to construct anyone. Okay, however is the natural water flows, like that only you have to go. Okay, the maintaining and constructing the route is very low, the most of them are naturally made. Okay, it promotes the international trades. Yes, one nation to another nation, if you want to do the any trade, if you want to do any international business, then it will promote, waterway will promote the international business. Then limitation of water transport. Yes, what are the disadvantages of water transport? The depth and navigability of rivers and canals vary, and thus affect the operations of the different transportation vehicles. See, if you are going from one point to another point, okay, I don't know what is the depth of the river or the depth of the ocean, correct na? So if you are moving very heavy vehicle, very heavy ship, then if the depth is very small, then it may affect. If it is a very large depth, then it will not affect. So that's what he is telling. The depth and navigability of the rivers and canals vary. Okay, the depth is varying, then that affects the operation of the different transportation vessels. Vessels means different size, shape, ship. Ships are not in the same size. Okay, it is going to change. Sizes are changing. So the depth and navigability of the rivers of the canal vary, and thus that affect the operation of the different transport vessels. It is slow moving mode of transport, and therefore not suitable for the transport of the perishable goods. See, as it is a slow moving, if there is any urgent need is there, okay, so from India to if you are moving for the USA, okay, if there is a very urgent need is there, then will you prefer this one, waterway? आपको ये चाहिए क्या? No. So you which one you will you prefer? You will prefer by the airways, because you have to come very fast, or if you want to go to very quick to the USA, you will prefer airways. Even though it is costly, you will prefer that. Okay, so as this is the very slow, that is waterway is the very slow, so we will not prefer this one. Then It is adversely affected by the weather conditions. Yes, during the rainy seasons, during the winter seasons, or during the flow of the weather conditions. So this is very adversely affected. Okay, if there is a very high tides are coming in the oceans, then will you prefer this waterways? Will you move around the water?
No.
No, you will
No.
not. Okay, when there is a calm and quiet waves are there, in that condition only ships will move. If there is a very abrupt movement of the tides are there, then this waterway is not preferred. Sea transport requires large investments on ship and their maintenance. Yes, it may be the low cost, but for production of the or the manufacture of the ship is very costly. Okay, as compared to the other modes. If you aeroplane, if you want to manufacture, it is okay, simple. Or roadways vehicles, if you want to manufacture your whatever vehicle, two-wheeler, four-wheelers are there, that's also easy. But the manufacture of a one ship is very high, costly. Sea transport requires large investment on ship and their maintenance. In order to maintain that one, we want a large amount of cost. It has a high maintenance cost. Yes, waterways requires high maintenance cost for ship and takes as it is required constant repair and painting of the ships. Yes, as the ships are always there in the sea, how will be the sea water? Is it a salty or is it a fresh water?
Salty.
If it is salty, will it affect the corrosion or it will not affect the corrosion? It will affect the corrosion, right? So if it is affect the corrosion, it means you have to maintain the properly. Your ship should be maintained properly and you have to paint the ships on regular basis. Okay. So these all are the some of the disadvantages, that is limitations. So you have seen what is waterways and what are the advantages and disadvantages. Only that much is sufficient. Is it clear? Waterways?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, good. So next transportation mode is railways. Okay. Have you seen this kind of railways? Railway tracks. Okay. So how this is junctions. Okay, this is crossing pointings and all. Okay. So we'll see one by one. What is railways? So transportation through the railways is advantageous for the long journey to transport the goods and passengers between the different stations. If you are having, if you're if you want to go from one city to another city, then the journey is very long. Then which one will you prefer? You will prefer
Rail.
railways. Okay, for the long journey from Jammu Kashmir to till Kanyakumari, if you want to come, you have to prefer that is railways. Okay, and also if there is a goods, heavy goods, if there is petroleum products or that is coal minings. Okay, if you want to transport a heavy goods and all, okay, you will prefer this one, heavy goods and passengers, and also for the long journey railways are preferred. The roads can act as a feeder system to the cater the traffic from various near and far the places. Yes, feeder means it will transport. It means the roads will act as a feeder system. The whatever roads are there, the roads will give the transportation to the railways. The roads can act as a feeder system to cater the traffic from the various near and far places. If there is a railways is moving, okay, if there is a railways, all the vehicles, if they are traveling, then it will become a very traffic. Okay, in order to avoid this one, the roads will be provided nearby the railways. So what this will do, roads, the whatever the traffic, two-wheelers or four-wheelers are there, that will carry the roads. And this is purely, railway is purely meant for the only railway system. The energy required to haul a unit load through a unit distance is only a fraction of that required for the haulage through the roads. So we should make the use of railways as much as possible. Yes, from the, what is haul means what? Haul means what?
Movement.
Movement. Okay, so if you want to move from one point to another point, okay, that is movement of a unit load. Unit load through a unit distance is only a fraction of that of the haulage through the roads. So if you want to move one unit load, if suppose one unit of load, if you want to move through a unit distance, what, how much cost required for the railways, that is a fraction of your roadways. Think that for a unit movement of the load for a roadways, if you are required 100% or 100 rupees is required for the roadways, then how much amount is required for the railways? That is a fraction, some fraction, maybe 10% or maybe 20% is required for the railways. Okay, so we should make the use of the railways as much as possible. So that's why maximum people have to use the railways maximum. So then what are the advantages of railways? It facilitates long distances. Yes, it is easy and comfort for the passengers for the long distance travel and transport of bulky goods. Okay, if there is a heavy vehicle load is there, then you have to prefer for the railways, bulky goods, which are not easily transported through the motor vehicles. Okay, so if there is a heavy vehicle or heavy motors are there, it is not possible to transport through the your truck or through your any vehicles. In that case, you have to prefer the railways, and it is a quick and more regular form of transport, and it helps in the transportation of goods with the speed and certainty. Okay, so in order to transport such a huge and bulky uh, load, the railways are very quick, and it is best. It helps in the industrialization process of country by easy transportation of coal and raw materials to cheaper rate. Yes, it helps the industrialization because it will transport the all the raw materials which are required for the industries. Okay, when the one if the nation wants to improve or develop, which system should be developed? Railway should be very developed. See, in the India, if there is no railway, then whether the industrialization will take place? No, that will not take place. No. So if there is a railway system, then we prefer industrialization, because it will carry the maximum number of raw materials. Okay, heavy materials it will move. That's why we will prefer the railways. So railways are very important in order to development of the nation. Okay, next, what are the advantages? It helps in quick movement of goods from one place to another place at the time of emergency. Yes, so you have seen during a corona time, okay, that is in second wave and all, oxygen tank was very essential tha. Okay, so because of shortage of oxygen tank and all, so there was a lot of people were dying, correct na? So that's why they have imported oxygen from the other countries, and they have circulated to the all the states. Okay, so that is quick movement through the railways, quick movement of goods from one place to another place at the time of emergency. Best example is during corona time, like famine and scarcity. Okay, so during famine and all also we are using the railways. It encourages the mobility of labor and thereby provide a great scope for the employment. Yes, railway use किया तो क्या होता? It means mobility for the labor. Okay, so we can use in railways maximum number of labors. Correct? It will is a great scope for the employment. Yes, nearby the railways and all, the people who are living, they will get the employment. They will get the job in the railways. That is the one of the big advantages. Is it correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next, it provides a great scope for the employment. Yes, it is going to give the employment for the people. Next, railways is the safest form of transport. The chances of accidents and breakdown of railways are minimum as compared to the other mode of transport. Yes, here also as compared to the airways or the as compared to the roadways, maximum it is compared to the roadways only. The accidents and the breakage of the railways are minimum. Okay, he is not saying that it is zero. Okay, it will be there, but it is minimum as compared to the roadways. Moreover, the traffic can be protected from the exposure to the sun, rain, and snow. Okay, if there is a heavy rain or heavy sun or snow, and the traffic will be protected. Next, the carrying capacity of the railway is extremely large. Extremely large. Moreover, its capacity is elastic, which can easily increased by adding more wagons. It is the largest public undertaking in the country. Yes, if you consider one railway, okay, one railway, if there are only 25 bogies are there, only 25 bogies are there. So think that you are in a Pandharpur city. Okay, there is a Wari. Okay, are you getting all of you? So during Wari time, most of the people are coming in, correct now? So at the time, whatever the railway system is there, the particular railway is not sufficient for the people. So in that case, what they will do, they will increase the number of bogies to that particular railway. Okay, if there are only two railways are coming, each are having only 25 bogies. So the accommodation of people is very high. So what they will do, they will increase 5 more bogies or 10 more bogies. Okay, they will increase the bogies and they will facilitate. That's what he is explaining here. The carrying capacity of the railway is extremely large, so it can carry extremely large. Moreover, its capacity is elastic. Elastic means you can increase the number of bogies and you can decrease the number of bogies, which can easily increase by adding more wagons. It is the largest public undertaking in the country. Yes, when you complete after your engineering in civil, so there is a public PSU, that is public sector undertaking. So most of the graduates are going to select through UPSC. Okay, after completing your UPSC exam in IES, India Engineering Services Examination, ESC and all. So there is recruitment in the public undertaking, the railways, IRS, Indian Railway Services. It is largest public undertaking in the country. Next, railway perform many public utility services. Their charges are based on the charge what the traffic can bear. Okay. Railway perform many public utility services. Their charges are based on the charges what the traffic can bear, principles which help the poor. In fact, it is national necessity. Yes. So the railway is very important for the nation. Okay. What they will do? The railways perform many public utility services. Okay, it is for the people only. Railway is there for the people, public utility services. The charges are based on the charge what the traffic can bear the principles. Okay, whatever the charges they are paying, they will pay very minimum charges in the railway transport. Next, so whenever there are advantages, in the same way there will be some of the disadvantages also. What are the disadvantages? The railways require a large investment of capital. Yes, this is the most major drawback. In order to do the railways, there is a heavy means heavy, large investment is required. That is capital. Initial investment is very large. The cost of construction, maintenance, and overhead expenses are very high as compared to the other modes of transport. Yes, in order to construction means railway track construction. So whenever you are constructing the railway track construction, so you have to excavate, you have to fill, and you have to do the blast filling. You have to do the that is sleepers. You have to take. Okay, again you have to maintain the rail track. Okay, it is very high construction, and also you have to maintain it. That is also challenging. And overhead expenses, if at all any other expenses coming in future days, that also it we should taken care. That's why it is very high compared to the other modes of transport. Construction is important, maintenance is also important, and overhead expenses is also important. Moreover, the investments are specific and immobile. Whatever investment they are doing, that is specific and that is not transportable, immobile. In case of traffic, it is not sufficient. The investments may mean wastage of huge resources. Okay, what he is saying, in case of traffic, so if there is a heavy large traffic is not sufficient, the investment may mean wastage of huge resources. See, so from one point to another point, if there is a heavy traffic, then only you have to prefer the railways. If there is no movement of traffic, movement of passengers or goods, in that case, if you are providing the railway track, then that is a wastage of your resources, correct? अभी देखो एक पॉइंट मैंने बोलते from Pandharpur to Solapur. Okay, think that. Okay, there is a 200 kilometers is there. Okay, assume करो सब लोग. Pandharpur to Solapur, there is a 200 kilometer. Okay, so if there is a movement of vehicle or the movement of traffic or movement of the people are very less. Okay, बहुत कम है लोग. In that case, will you prefer the this system, railway system?
No.
No, because railway system requires very high initial investment. If the traffic is very less, then you are not supposed to prefer this one. That's what he is saying. In case of traffic is not sufficient, the investment may mean wastage of your huge resources. Okay, if the traffic is very heavy, then only you have to prefer this one. Then disadvantages. Another disadvantages of railway transport is its inflexibility. Okay, so once if you laid the railway track, then you cannot change it. Correct, na? Once if you are making the railway track, you cannot change it. It is inflexibility. Are you getting difference between the rigid and flexible? Rigid means you cannot change. Flexible means you can change. Inflexibility means you cannot change. Okay, so railway transportation is its inflexibility. Its routes timings cannot be adjusted. Okay, एक बार route fix होने के बाद you cannot change the routes to the individual requirements. Okay, rail transport cannot provide door-to-door services and it is tied to a particular track. Yes, so when you compare with the roadways and railways, roadways is door-to-door system services, but railways are not door-to-door. It means through the railways, through the roads, from one point to one point, one village to another village. Okay, if there is a roadways from one door to one door, one house to one house, you can move. Okay, but in case of railways, you cannot go door-to-door services. You have to go as it is tied to the particular track. So railways are moving in a particular track. It will not move another from one house to another house. It is particularly moving in a particular track. Intermediate loading or unloading involves greater cost, more wear and tear, the wastage of time. Yes, intermediate loading. So if there is a initially if you are loading and unloading at last, it means okay. If you are loading and you are coming inside, and if you are again loading and unloading किया तो क्या होता is it is a greater cost is loss and more wear and tear and wastage of time हो जाता. The time cost of terminal operations are great disadvantages of rail transportation. Yes, the time cost of terminal operations. Terminal operations means near the stations. Okay, near the stations where the rails are stopped. The time cost of terminal operations are great disadvantages of rail transportation. So, udhari maximum time waste hoga. If you are stopping the rail means your income is not generated. Okay, so that is the one major disadvantages. Next one is, as the railways require huge capital outlet, that is capital outlay, they may give rise to a monopolies and work against the public interest at a large scale. Okay, so as the railways require huge capital investment, they may give rise to monopolies and work against the public interest at large. Okay, this is not that much important. The railway transport is unsuitable and uneconomical for a short distances. Yes, what I told. So if the distances are very large, in that case the railways are not supposed to construct, because it needs heavy investment, correct? So in that case, if the short distance is there or the small traffic is there, then you are not supposed to construct the railways. It involves much time and labor in booking and taking delivery of the goods through the railways as compared to the motor transport. Yes, it involves much time and labor of in booking. Okay, so if you want to book the railways, it is a time consuming. So if you want to book the in the roadways, that is through the sleeper coach and all, it is very automatically within one day you can book the in roadways. But in the railways, if you want to do the booking and all, you have to go within 1 week or more than that one. Okay, these all are the some of the disadvantages. So one more is, because of huge capital requirements and traffic, railways cannot be operated economically in rural areas. Yes, this is important. In rural area, as it is a huge requirement, huge initial investment is required. The rural area, it is not economical. Okay. Thus, large rural areas have no railway even today. So till today, so have you seen Solapur to Pandharpur? Is there any railway facility? Right? Solapur to Pandharpur? No, it is not there. Railway communication is not, because there may be a system of problem of route, and there is not that much of traffic, and the distance is only kitna hai? 60 kilometer hai, 60 or 70 kilometers hai, okay. So if the short distance is there, then you cannot go for the railways. If the traffic is very less, then also you cannot go for the railways. Okay, because heavy initial investment is required. That's why the large rural areas have no railways even today. So till today, maximum number of villages are not having this railways. Okay, so these are all about the railways and all. So next one is roadways and highways. So have you seen this kind of roads? All of you, have you seen or no? In Mumbai, Pune, have you seen? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
what kind of roads these? Flyover? Okay, there is one road is going on the ground, another road is moving on the flyover. Okay, over the bridges and all. Okay, when you come for the higher studies, there is one subject, railway engineering. Okay, one separate subject, railway engineering is there. One separate subject, that is transportation engineering or highway engineering is there. In that highway engineering, you will study all these things. What are these different types of highways? Okay, when it is provided, when to take the turnings and all, you will study all these things. Okay, we will take a small part of the roadways and all. The transportation by road is the mode which can provide as the maximum flexibility. Yes. Can you tell me whether the railway is flexibility or inflexibility?
Inflexibility.
Inflexibility. Once if you construct, you cannot change or you cannot make any alteration. But the road is very flexible. Maximum flexibility. Roadway is maximum flexibility with the roads. Type of vehicles, lanes and times. You can change the routes, you can change the type of vehicle, you can change the number of lanes and times also. We can use the two-wheeler or four-wheeler or whatever suit the situation. If there is a road, through that road you can go by two-wheeler, you can go by four-wheeler, you can go by eight-wheeler also. Okay, through the particular road. It is mode of transportation which provides the door-to-door services. Yes, this is important. Door-to-door services. It means door-to-door service means what? If there is a small street is there. Okay, आपके area में small street is there. So through the road, through one door to another door, वहाँ एक घर से और दूसरे घर को जा सकते हैं. That is by the mode of roadways. So is it possible in the railway? एक घर से another घर को stop होता है क्या? Roadway, railway?
No.
No. So that is not a door-to-door services. Railway is not a door-to-door services. Okay, roadway is a door-to-door services. These points are important. MCQ questions. It is required by all other three modes of transportation. Yes, roadway is required for all other three. See, if you want to go for the waterway, you have to travel some amount by the road and then you have to go by the waterway. If you want to go by the railway, you have to travel from your house to till that railway station. You have to go by the roadway, then you have to go for the railways. Correct na? If you want to go flight, okay, airways में जाना है तो you have to travel first by the roadway, then you have to go to the flight and all. It means the roadway or highway is the mode of transportation which provides the that is door to door, and it is required by all other three modes of transportation. Everyone need to use the roadway to reach the airport. Correct ना? Airport reach करने के लिए हमको road चाहिए. Harbors, okay, and or the railway stations more often. Okay, whenever you want to prefer the many mode of transportation, the roadways are must. So this mode also act as a feeder system to all other three modes of transportation. Okay, it means if there is a railway, so in order to go to the railway, you have to come by the roadways. If there is airways, in order to go to the airways, you have to come by the roadway. If there is a waterway, you have to come for the roadway. So roadways are feeder to the all the systems. Everyone need to use the roadway to reach the airport, harbors. Okay, that same point. So this mode also act as a feeder system to all other three modes of transportation. Okay, advantages क्या है? Advantages it is cost effective. Yes. So as per the you have seen IRC classification, national highway, state highway, MDR, ODR, and village roads. So that is national highway requires very high investment. Okay, in the village roads, is it required that much investment?
No.
It is not required. It means it is cost effective. The routes are ideal and short distances. Okay, one from very short distance आपको जाना है तो you can prefer roads. The ideal for transporting perishable, the example fruit and vegetables. Okay, for day-to-day activities को जो चीज चाहिए हमको, so that transportation करने के लिए we have to prefer, that is ideal transportation means through the roadways. Highways are easy to monitor location of goods. Okay, so a very small amount of good is transported from one point to another point. You have to prefer the highways. It is easy to communicate with driver. Okay, so always the driver is एक vehicle transport करना चलाना है तो driver को आप easily communicate कर सकते. But will you, is it possible in the railways? If you want to stop the railway, will you go and stop? Huh?
No.
No, it is not possible. No. So if you want to stop your vehicle, that is buses or the tempo or lorry, so you can very easily go towards the driver and you can stop the vehicle. Correct, no? So in the roadways, it is easy to communicate with the driver, but in the other airways or the waterways and all, it is not possible. Okay, so these all are the roadways only. Next point is airways. Okay, what are these? What are these? Aeroplanes. Have you traveled aeroplanes? No. Only one person is saying no. Others?
No, sir. No.
Offline people are not. Okay, online people are traveled, I think. Huh? No. Okay. What is airways? So the transportation by the airways, that is aeroplanes, is the fastest among the four different types, and by the waterways is the lowest. Yes, this is important in your MCQ questions. Which one dash is the fastest and dash is the slowest transportation system? Which one is the fastest? Airways are the
Airways.
fast ways. And which one is the slowest?
Waterways.
Okay, you have to remember this point. Travel by air also provides the more comfort. Yes, will you comfort? Will you take the comfort or no in the airways, aeroplanes? If you want to travel from the, that is from Mumbai to Delhi, so if you prefer the airways, is it comfort or not? Comfort नहीं क्या आपको?
Yes, comfort.
Everyone will feel. So travel by air also provides the more comfort. So what are the advantages of the air transport? It is high speed. Yes, this is the very important. High speed. Airways are very high speed. It is the fastest mode of transport and therefore suitable for carriage of the goods over a long distance. It requires less time. Okay, if you want to go from India to abroad, so which one will you prefer? You will prefer airways because it is
Airways.
high speed. Quick service. Air transport provides the comfortable, efficient, and quick transport services. It is regarded as the best mode of transport for the transporting the perishable goods. Yes, from Delhi to Mumbai, if there is any emergency is required, okay, any emergency is required. Have you seen? I think from Bangalore to Delhi or something, the heart was transplanted. Okay, and the person needs a heart. Okay, from I am not sure, but Bangalore to Delhi or something. So heart was taken out from the body, and it is under working condition only. It is transported from the one Bangalore to Delhi. I think it is again. It is operated to the another person, and the person is alive. Okay, so in this past the work transportation is working. Which one is airways? That is very quick services. So advantages is high speed में जो होता quick service में ये help हो जाता. Next, no infrastructure investment. Yes. So when you compare only at the terminal point only, you have to construct the airport. Okay. But when you compare the roadways, railways, you have to construct a railway track along your transportation. But roadway along your roads, you have to construct the roads. But such infrastructure is not required for the airways. Correct? Na? Only airport are needed. The air transport does not require the emphasis on the construction of tracks like railways. As no capital investment for the surface track is needed. It is a less costly mode of transport. Yes. So as compared to the railways, this is not required any tracks. Okay, that's why it is cheaper as compared to the railways. Easy access. Air transport is regarded as the only means of transport in those areas which are not easily accessible to the other modes of transport, and it is therefore it is accessible to all other area regardless the obstruction of land. Yes, so if you consider there is a one remote sensing, okay, remote place is there, so उधर waterway भी possible नहीं, उधर railway भी possible नहीं, roadway भी possible नहीं. So which one will you prefer? In that case, you will prefer airways. Okay, easy access. किधर other mode of transportation possible नहीं ना? In that case, you can prefer the airways. No physical barrier. Okay, so air transport is free from physical barrier because it follows the shortest and direct routes where seas, mountains, and forests do not obstruct. Yes, if you want to travel by the railways, if there is any sea is there, okay, that will be obstruction. If there is any mountain is there, then that will be obstruction for the roadways, for waterways, and railways. But such type of obstruction will not come in airways because aeroplane will go at a very elevated, no, so there will not be any mountains, There will not be any trees, there will not be any forest, there will not be any oceans. So it will not get any physical barrier. The natural route. Aircraft travel to any place without any natural obstacle. Okay, so as it is traveling at a very higher altitude, there will not be any obstacles or barriers because custom of formalities are compiled very quickly and it avoids the delay in obtaining the clearance. Okay, there will not be any delay as such in the other mode of transportation. Then the advantages of the airport. National defense. Yes, it plays significant role in the national defense of the country because modern wars are conducted with the help of aeroplanes. Airways has a upper hand destroying the enemies in short period. Yes, in our defense services, we are maximum utilizing airways. Okay, towards the border of India, China, India, Pakistan, and all our borders, we are using airways are very high. Okay, so airways are a upper hand or destroying the enemies. So in order to do bombing and all, so we are using airways. In the national defense services, we are using maximum airway system. Next one, rail. A disadvantage. What are the disadvantages of air transport? It is risky. Yes, we know that it is risky. Air transport is mostly risky by for the transport because minor accidents may put a substantial loss of the goods, passengers, and crew. Okay, you have seen our National Defense Services Minister recently, Bipin Rawat. He has because of air clashes and all. Okay, he has died. So because of minor mistakes also can lead to death of human death. Okay, that's why it is called a risky job. The chances of accidents are greater in comparison to the other modes of transport. Okay, the chances. Okay, the chances are greater. Very costly. So air transport is considered to be costlier as compared to the other mode of transport. The operating cost of aeroplanes are higher and it involves a greater deal of expenditure on the construction, aerodromes and aircraft. Because of this reason, the fear of air transports are very high. Okay, so we have to construct the airport and we have to construct the aeroplanes and all. The construction is that is very costly. Okay, so same way it is a small carrying capacity, so it will not carry heavy vehicles. It is unreliable and it is huge investments. So initially, if you want to do the construct the airport and also aeroplanes, and it requires huge investments. Okay, so these are all the small comparison between the roadways and railways. So this point we will study in the next class. Okay, that is comparison we will study in the next class. Okay, okay, so in the next class we will study the comparison and also bridges. Okay, so we'll stop now. We'll continue in the next class. Just a minute. I think sir is waiting. We'll take attendance. Okay. Whose lecture is there? Maths. Hmm? Sir, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Then I will copy your attendance only, sir.
Oh, okay. No, sir. No problem.
Okay.
Just make me a host, then you can leave, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I made you as a host.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you all.